I'm going to call the meeting to order. Welcome to our general finance. Any changes, additions, or deletions to the agenda? And if not, I'll look to a motion to adopt our agenda, moved by Michelle, seconder. Second by Hazel. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. We have no delegations this morning. That will move us into the adoption of the general finance minutes of November 21st.
I'll move on in minutes.
Okay, moved by Carrie, seconder. Second by Greg. Further questions, comments? Okay, seeing or hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. Housing, contract approval. You'll see the recommendation on our agendas. I believe Lily Ann is on the line for any questions. Seems pretty straightforward. Lily Ann, is there any further background to the recommendation?
Just that council had already approved a contract of $400,000 for a single duplex on that particular lot. In order to maximize land space, we decided to put two duplexes on the single lot, given that it has the space to accommodate it. So we're just asking for approval for the additional amount to build a second duplex and site servicing.
I'll move,
Okay.
Mark.
Okay, thank you, Lillian, and thank you, Audrey. It's moved by Audrey. Is there a seconder?
I'll second with a question. Sure.
Second by Sherry Lynn. And question? Go for it, Sherry Lynn.
So with the utilities and stuff, that's all. Has that been done with having two of them there?
So the utilities haven't been done yet, Sherry Lynn. So we wanted to get this going. We signed the contract for $400,000 back in August. So they began building the first duplex. We're trying to get the second one done at the same time to mitigate costs with the economies of scale. But even if we couldn't get the second one approved right away, they were gonna lay the second track for utilities in case we were to build a second unit on the same lot down the line. But given that we're doing it at the same time, the utilities will be ran at the same time.
So yes, I understand that, but do we have the capacity for having another one there? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, this has all been Mike's been involved in this conversation with ANC as well as Hydro.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Sherry Lynn. Is there any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing or hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. Motion to waive second reading, moved by Audrey. Seconder? Second by Sherry Lynn. All in favor to waive second reading? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. The next item, Gavanio, which is a funding application. It's for the approval of the request for Gavanio Board of Directors to support the application for funding to ISK, Ontario Region Capital Facilities and Maintenance Program, minor cap in the amount of $170,000 for the completion of drawings by K&L Martin for the new school green and inclusive project. Is there to that effect?
So move, Melba.
Moved by Melba and seconded by Audrey. Further questions, comments? Okay, seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Favor.
Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is motion to waive second reading.
Move, Melba.
Moved by Melba, seconded by Audrey to waive second reading. All in favor?
Favor.
Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. Ruby?
I just want to ask, with all respect, if we could have the written document in our hands in the next couple days, because KL doesn't have much time to complete that before the end of that call, which we understand is the end of December.
Sure. If I can, Becky, if you can work with Ruby to get that over to Ruby ASAP.
End of the day, Ruby.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Ruby. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, I believe the next item is the indemnity for the Cannabis Commission. I know this has been on our agenda for quite some time. I believe we have Kathy on the line as well. If there's any further questions or comments, just really quickly, I want to check in with Darren. If there's anything further, Darren, on our end.
No, these are pretty standard. We actually we agreed to do indemnities for commissioners and personnel when we signed the original MOU. So this will coincide. Part of this recommendation also talks about extending the MOU. So part of the decision point today is not only providing the indemnity for personnel and commissioners. We got a couple of new commissioners on board, so we want to cover them, but also to extend the MOU for a period of no less than 6 months and no more than 12 months is the recommendation. So it's up to council to make that determination. I think the new commissioners through Kathy's work has demonstrated that they're recommitted to the process and working very diligently. I understand we have a lot of applicants for the two roles to fill, to support their work as well. One is community outreach and the other is market development. So I think that's a really good shift in focus on relationship building within the community. So I would recommend we go for the 12 months or close to the 12-month period, which would bring us to this period again next year. So that's about all I have on that, Chief. I know Kathy's here if she has any additional questions for Kathy, and Christopher was instrumental in also helping us craft this recommendation.
Okay, thank you for that, Darren. Further questions, comments? And if not, I am looking for a mover and seconder.
I'll move it to Melba.
Okay, it's moved by Melba. Is there a seconder?
I'll second.
Second by Carrie. Further questions, comments? And oh, sorry, Greg.
Yes. Yeah. Is that for 6 months or 1 year? Is that what we voted on? That MOU?
Yeah, so it's the indemnity part, and then for the recommendation of the 1 year.
Oh,
So the
okay.
12 months.
Yeah, I agree. I think they've been doing some good work. So, yeah, I think it'll take probably a year to just get them going, and I'm all for that. Thank you.
Agreed. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that, Greg. Is there any further questions or comments? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, a motion is carried. Motion to waive second reading.
I'll move, Melba.
Moved by Melba, seconder.
Yeah, I will.
Second by Carrie to waive second reading. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried. The next item on our agenda is requests for donations. You'll see both the Canadian Cancer Society, Brantford, as well as Norfolk. Looking to see how council would like to proceed. Sorry, Beck, can you just confirm the further background? Is there, I don't have the documents just in front of me right now.
Well, they come every year, council used it, but they haven't since COVID. But prior to COVID, the council purchased tickets and gave them to the cancer group.
Okay, that's miles to go.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any further questions, comments, council? I see Audrey and then over to Greg.
My question is, are we going to do the same with our Miles to Go cancer group on the reserve as well? With whatever donation we decide. You know,
Thanks for that, Audrey. I would assume that we would do the same as well. If and when a request comes forward from Miles to Go. Greg, and then over to Michelle.
Actually, yeah, that was my question too. If we have, if we donate to the chapter that's on reserve, I'm not familiar with how the donations work through council. I do know that First Nations get a lot of high incidence of lung cancer, and I think colorectal cancer, and are treated at the Juravinski Center. But then again, I'm not familiar with how council donates to these organizations. So I was just asking if we had one that's on reserve. That was my question. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. I know in the past that we have supported the Miles to Go in multiple areas. And again, I would assume that would still, we would still do the same when they would submit their request. Michelle?
So we declined Miles to Go this year when they submitted. It didn't come to full council. It went to the donation fund. And so hence why I had asked about, they were advised the fund was exhausted. So I would agree with Audrey, Greg, and probably everybody. We should be supporting our own first.
Agreed.
And so they asked for 3,000 and were declined. So I would not be in favor of supporting these two today, just because I think if we do, then we just, it's a slap in the face to our own.
Agreed. That's a good point. Thanks for that background, Michelle. So maybe what we can do, council, is just hold off on this for now until we can then further look at our donation fund for the Miles to Go to see why and if we can support them or rather bring that item back. So maybe we'll do we'll look to defer this item for now until we do a little bit of more background to see how we could further support Miles to Go.
So can I ask now, this is getting in the weeds, what do they do? Because it came forward, it came to council, and then they've had no follow-up. So just connect with Becky? Have Tammy
Yes.
connect with Becky? Okay.
Yes. Okay, thanks for that, Michelle. Okay, council, that's all I have for the open agenda. That leads us into our motion to adjourn the open session. Is there a mover? Moved by Sherry Lynn, seconder. Second by Hazel. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing or hearing none, motion is carried.